And they like, well, this affects his reputation and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, if he goes through the trial, because when they say like a money grab, it's not a money grab to me. It's more like if somebody comes to me and says, yo, I'm accusing you of a 13-year-old and you want to settle, it's like, that's unsettlable. If it didn't happen, I'm not settling that because it's like saying you admitted to doing something. I wouldn't, that's an offer that you just can't settle on some allegation like that. You got to take that to trial, to me. That's how I would look at it. So I don't think this lawyer came with the intention of thinking that, someone like Homeboy was going to settle. And then you have to actually prove it. So what happens is, and this is from my personal experience, first they try to dismiss it, but that never happens. It's just, to me, a procedure so lawyers get paid. And then you have to have discovery, and then there's the deposition. So there's where it could be problematic because either way, if this case goes forward, there will be a deposition. And that's where you can ask that person anything about anything, and that's where a lot of other things can happen. And you can't lie because that's the purpose of a deposition is if you say something that's not true and then they prove it, now your word is discredited. You impeach yourself. So that's the purpose of a deposition, to get you to say something on paper and say something different in the courtroom. And then that's what happens. And, that's where things can get tricky, So for me personally, I've gone through that where I've been accused and then go through a whole trial. And in the trial, it just doesn't stand up. It falls apart. He's really tied into corporate. So if corporate shuts his life, like he really has the ability to be canceled. I don't think it would be as easy for him to go independent and sell product on his own, like Kanye's had to go do. His stuff has always been corporately funded, and those are the people that put him on a pedestal. So I was like, now I'm going to see how much they really support him. And if they're going to treat him like they treat every other person when they, have to wear something like that on them. Pause. So, I'm wondering what's the NFL going to do now. If they don't do nothing, then I'm like, yo, he with them. He got people with him. But I would think that the reason why he has to now speak is because all that corporate must be in jeopardy. It just has to be based on the algorithm, And then I wonder how objective certain platforms are going to be, the ones that have been holding him down every single second for the last 30 years, what their perspective is on it. Will they be objective? Because I know how I was treated. But what I can say is this. When I went through it, the scrutiny was nothing like this. The way they're breaking it down on TikTok and on social media and how they're talking about it in pop culture, I've never had to sustain that. My kids have never had to go through that. So whether it's true or not, again, in this moment, I'd rather be me. Just minding my business.
Dame Dash took to his Instagram and he spoke on the Jay-Z situation. And he said some things that were very pivotal. He spoke on things like depositions, which regardless, they ruin a person's career. He spoke on things about you have to fight it, because if they're accusing you of something like that, you just have to. And he kind of was throwing a few shots, but not really shots. That's why he was like, in Homeboy, because that just lets you know, people, that whatever thing that happened with them was bad. He don't even want to refer to him as Jay-Z. He just called him Homeboy because they fell out. It was bitter. You know what I'm saying? It's still some emotional hatred between the two. And I understand that. But nevertheless, Dame Dash was popping. He's telling it like it is. He said, hey, I was in a position like that when people was accusing me. Because he also did say, too, yeah, when they accused him, he went to trial. They found out that the person that accused him was lying. So it could work the same way for Jay. But he did throw, like I say, once again, he threw a shot at the end. Hey, I'm glad to be me. And he did also say, I just mind my business. And he does mind his business, but he's on social media like everybody else, so he does have to speak about certain things. And he actually was connected with Jay-Z them and the whole Rockefeller movement. You know, we all know about that. But he did go on to say as well, I don't remember the party, and I would have to see what outfit I had on to know if I remember the party. And I understand that too. You want to keep yourself as disconnected from that situation as possible, because we are in that day and age, people, where if you're connected in any form or fashion, especially you're somebody with a status and with some money, they're going to try to tie you into it and basically try to see if they can hit you for something. Don't matter if you was young when you did it or old when you did it. It's just the point of, if you did it, and like I say, in New York, they're allowing people to go back. As of now, and I think to the end of this year, you can file charges against people that have done any kind of devious acts to you, any violent acts to you. You can file a case against them, and you can go back 20, 25, 30 years. Don't quote me on it. I had read that little law where you can go back on people in New York City, and that has something to do with it. You can best believe that, because if you was there and something happened to you, you like, whoa, okay, I can go back. I can at the least I can pick up me a little change, because most people gonna say, nah, just let it go away. But Jay-Z, he's doing it the right way, because to be technically right, and just like Dame said, hey, look it, if I settle out and give you the money, that's an admission of guilt. And especially if I know I didn't do it, I'm just worried about my name losing its height and getting lower, and people canceling me, as they call it, the cancel culture. I wouldn't worry about being canceled if I didn't do something. I'm not going to pay you for something I didn't do just so my name can still have its stance. I'm not going to do that. So Jay's right about doing that. Dame's has a good point on the things he's saying. And people, we just got to watch and wait and see how this thing plays out. And with that, I'm going to say this is the news in you. North, east, west, south, unite from every alley and Cali, intersection and back street. Subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up on your way out the door.
Star Child, I never
seen the sunshine like this.
I never
Never seen the moon glow like
Hey yo, I
this.
never
Never seen the waterfalls like this.
I never